even before that, I was sort of trying to be like, okay, change is coming because you can't live like Dean Martin forever in your turtleneck.
Well,
Every question you ask him, I say, I can't believe you're asking me that. That's a little inappropriate.
so you're really talking to him? I'm not
Yeah.
here.
Oh, I'm talking to you.
Okay. Thanks for being here, Jim.
Thank you.
Awesome. Can you tell us about the music you're going to play tonight?
That's a vague question. We're going to play songs that I composed in my home, mostly. Some of them in hotel rooms, accompanied by musicians. The instrumentation of bass, drums, guitar, percussion, played by Phil Bova, a mastering whiz. And we have a special guest on saxophone. Who doesn't love saxophone? It's really coming back.
We're in the middle of a pandemic. What's kept you going?
Well, to be honest, I'm a really like almost hermit-like person already. So my life, other than that, my entire industry has been eliminated. It hasn't really changed. Like I don't normally go out very much anyway. So what keeps me going? I got into exercise. That's as you can tell. I've been just working on music and helping people. The funny thing is I've become a bit of a gear lending library because when you don't have any work to do, people are like, hey, do you think I could borrow a couple mics while you don't have anything going on? And then I mail them out and helping with projects. I've helped people get like home studios set up. I'm sort of helping people put me out of business by lending them gear and giving them tips on how they don't need to use me and just kind of keeping on. I'm really fortunate that my partner has a job that has not been eliminated, that I work a little bit in a sector of music that I still can kind of work on. So I do not make a ton of money off live performing anymore. I've really switched to production and I still tour and do shows, but it's really become more like the slant started like this and it's really starting to, slant the other direction now. So it's, touch wood, it's been a bit of a blessing that I have chosen that a few years ago to start doing more stuff like that.
Do you think this has produced any interesting ideas, like any interesting music for you, just having to this involuntary solitude, I would say?
Yeah. I just think it's a continuation of my voluntary solitude that I enjoy. And I think there's been a lot of positives in this, that people have had to spend more time with themselves. And I think a lot of people are doing like making efforts, people that maybe were needing to look at themselves in the mirror a bit, myself included, and sort of make some changes. And I'm sort of in the middle part of my life and just making some like positive changes and things like that. I definitely have been working on music and songs and I still play music. I still keep like a pretty late evening schedule. I don't work on a ton of sleep, but just like, getting more active has been really positive for me because it's enabled me to just sort of, offset like my lack of sleep with like a health regime. And I am going to bed a little bit earlier. And I don't know, I think for a while, everyone in COVID was just like living like Dean Martin and just like, where are the drinks? And so that's really trailed back since, the holidays was kind of the last hurrah to be like, even before that, I was sort of trying to be like, okay, change is coming because you can't live like Dean Martin forever in your turtleneck.
Are you after any kind of imagery or theme? Like, do you think about it that way? How do you go about creating your sound?
Well, I really do like the meditative aspect of music, even if you're playing a song that's a little more aggressive or whatever it may be, or it might be mid-tempo or upper tempo songs. I still like there to be a calmness about it. I know that people have written me and told me about how calming they find what I do. I'm actually getting more into like ASMR. So the demos I've been doing, I've been singing like really, really hushed and almost getting into like my ASMR folk sense. But I don't know. I think like, I have a history of liking cinematic music, and I think that influences what I do. Like I like a lot of film music, and there was a time that I thought that I would get into that, but I realized that my attention span, and I mean a negative term for it is laziness, but I don't really have it in me. Like currently, like film composing and commercial music and stuff like that, I don't think I have the right brain for it. I much rather just work on music and it be something. And I've actually been playing a lot of piano in the pandemic, and I go out to my studio late at night and always have mics set up, and I just sort of play really soft improvised piano and then record it. And then, I don't even know what I've done the next day, because it's just sort of whatever. I'll be like, I'm going to play in B flat and see what happens, and then try to modulate. And then I studied music, but I haven't studied it enough that I know like all of like the inversions and like extension on chords. So I'll play chords and I won't really know what it is as I like, because I'll do something where I'll actually do a diminished chord, but then I'll push the 5 to an augmented. So, but I'll do a minor chord with an augmented 5th sort of thing, and it's almost sounds wrong. And then I like working off that kind of stuff, and so I like having enough knowledge to get myself in trouble, and not enough knowledge to get myself out of trouble. That sort of thing.
How important do you think music is right now for everybody?
Oh, I think it's a huge thing. I think that everyone is complaining about the death of the guitar and the death of not the death of music, and then all these music companies have said pandemic has been wild. Like after everyone learned to make sourdough, now they're moving on to like, well, maybe I can play. My uncle had a guitar, and maybe I'll buy a guitar, maybe I'll try this. And I don't know. I think there's always been an aspect of music that is meditative and healing, and whether it's healing because of its softness or its aggression. Like, I mean, I won't lie. Like I'm unsuccessfully trying to get my daughters to allow me to play Slayer for them and get through a side of South of Heaven, and they're not having it. But I think like there's something in like the anger of music that speaks to people, and the visceral nature of aggressive music as much as there is about the meditative state of like Bill Evans, and how, you could just drift away to Bill Evans. And, I've been getting into like Charles Mingus stuff. I got his solo piano record last year, and just been getting into like, I bought that Duke Ellington, Charles Mingus trio record with the drummer who is, it's not who I think it is, but it's who someone else would think it is. And Max Roach, yeah. And just the contemplative and conversational nature of all that music, I found myself just allowing it, we have all the time in the world, so you really can examine kind of aspects of music that you were wanting to but were unable to. And I just think day to day people are looking to music and words and books and film and everything. It's just anything that makes people feel like a connection. I think we all are have an addiction to connection, which isn't only through phones. I think it's through real kind of connection and conversation and things that aren't just talking about the weather. So I think music is tied into that.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, my last question, which you kind of touched on, was just any words of advice or for folks right now?
Advice is like, I don't know, like everybody asks people for advice about when they're doing music. And I'm just like, just do it. Like make tons of mistakes and write really terrible songs, because the terrible songs bring good songs, and like just be like as fearless as you can allow yourself to be, and don't like get caught up in something that your music has to be for something. Like I have to do music and there has to be some levels of success, or what's the point in doing it? Like just play and enjoy it and have it be a part of your life. That would be my recommendation.